Hello, Bashar. My name is Jack. I'm tuning in from Bali, Indonesia. And I have a question. My wife and I, we run a life coaching business. And one thing that we've thought has been our highest excitement is impacting really as many people as possible. And so we've wanted to fill our programs to really have about 10 times more people. And yet everything we've done to try to do that hasn't worked out. Now, do you think the problem is that we've been focusing too much on the outcome? Is this not really our highest excitement if everything we've done in the last 7 years to grow our business hasn't panned out and it's led to burnout and overwhelm? Are these symptoms of it not being our highest excitement? Let me know if you can help me with clarity on this. Thank you.
Yes, or symptoms of you not doing it in the way that is actually most exciting, plus a little bit of insistence on your part, which is causing resistance. Because you think that it's somehow more impactful by having more people than simply the people that you have. Remember, they're going to go out and they're going to share things too. So you may not necessarily have to personally have all of the people that will be touched by what you're sharing, but you just have to know that what it is you're sharing will reach who it needs to reach, and stop focusing on the idea of the quantity and focus instead on the quality of your delivery and information. It will reach who it needs to reach. Your numbers may grow, but that's not the important point. The important point is, are you sharing what you're passionate about sharing without insistence, without resistance? Are you trusting the synchronicity of the way things are unfolding? You only get overwhelmed, as you say, by doing things that are resistant to the natural flow of your being. So find ways to do things that are more exciting, or things themselves that are more exciting, and just trust that the way it unfolds is the way that it needs to at this moment. If it needs to change, it will. If it doesn't change, it didn't need to.
Oh, hello, Bashar.
Good day to you.
So I have a few questions for you.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much.
You have given us in a previous transmission two pictures of grays. And I was curious to know from which race are these two grays?
One is a hybrid in the classic sense. One is more aligned with the idea that most people on your planet recognize as the grays. And as we have said, the grays are a mutated race of humans from a parallel version of Earth. At least that faction that you're mostly dealing with. Not that there aren't other factions of grays. There are tall grays, there are short grays, there are grays from other dimensions. But the ones that we more often than not refer to are the race of mutated humans from the parallel version of Earth. Does that answer your question? Or is there something else you wanted to explore about that?
I was wondering if it had maybe something to do with the different hybrid races that will be introduced.
Well, first and foremost, the different hybrid races will be introduced at different times. The first will be the Shalanaya, the children that will come to live among you, and possibly the Yael, the caretakers of the children that will ultimately come to live among you in different places on your planet. So eventually, you will start to meet, as contact opens up more and more, the different hybrid races. But remember, the grays are already, in a sense, one version of a hybrid race. So you have met them, you will meet the children, you will meet the Yael, possibly the precursors have been observed by some people on your planet from time to time, without necessarily knowing it. But to meet our civilization, the Sasani hybrids, will require a little bit more change on your planet before you will become vibrationally compatible with our species. Does that answer your question?
Okay. Almost. And I was wondering if one of these two pictures, I guess the hybrid, if it's referring to if it is referring to the Shalanayel or the Yael.
The Shalanaya and the Yael may have some hybrid features, but they are a little bit more human than we are. The hybrid you're looking at is a little bit more representative of something closer to us, with the larger eyes, smaller nose and mouth and ears, so on and so forth. Again, some of the Yael and Shalaniah may exhibit some of these traits, especially in the eyes, but that is what is typically referred to on your planet now as an average or classic hybrid, which is sort of like a 50-50 between the grays and what you consider yourselves to be as human. Therefore, more representative of us.
Okay. My next question, I was wondering, what is the general relationship from our collective consciousness to extraterrestrials?
The general relationship? Can you be more specific?
Like, how do we relate to extraterrestrials as a collective consciousness, whether we are welcoming them or not?
Well, you relate to us in a variety of ways based on belief systems from different individuals, different cultures on your planet, so on and so forth. There isn't just one big way that all of you are aware of, even though on a collective level, yes, there is a relationship, and it is through the idea of the collective archetypal consciousnesses that you have labeled things like Christ consciousness, Buddha nature, Krishna spirit. We come through or make a connection to those collective levels of your entire planet, sometimes expressed as nature or Gaia as well, in order to allow ourselves to know when we are or are not interfering with the overall process of the individuals on Earth. So the relationship is one of reflection, is one of connection. You are definitely part of our galactic family, whether you know it or not, and we a part of yours. But this is something you will come to learn. Does that answer your question?
I think so.
All right. Well, you are asking the questions in very general ways, so we're not exactly sure exactly what direction you would like to take this in.
Yes, actually, it's also referring to the open contact.
Yes.
Because if I understand it, open contact means that there is a certain level of readiness to allow you to come.
Yes.
And as we are building up to that direction, I was wondering whether it shows as a collective, in the collective field.
Yes,
that
it does. But again, please do remember, you never change the planet you're on. You shift yourself to another version of Earth that is already more ready for open contact by changing your vibration to match it. So when you say the collective, well, yes, that's true. There are more people in your reality that are more willing to shift themselves toward the experience of open contact, but that doesn't mean it's going to be happening on the version of Earth that you're on right now. You will leave that behind. You will shift to another version of Earth, whether you recognize it as such or not. Does that answer the question? Remember, the window of open contact is somewhat broad. Beginning in your year of 2023, it will start slowly. It will be sporadic and intermittent. It will take different forms. Possibly toward the end of the window, 2033, 2040, 2050, then you'll be experiencing more fully the idea of open contact with different extraterrestrial species. So it'll happen gradually over that window in a variety of ways, depending upon the belief systems and cultures that exist on your version of Earth at this particular moment, and how far they're willing to shift into new versions of Earth that are already experiencing open contact. So we're giving you that broad window of time for you to go through whatever process is necessary for you to get used to the idea that you can be interacting physically with extraterrestrial beings in your society, because it will vastly change your society, or more precisely, your society, or whatever version of it is going to shift into those other versions of reality, will have to change very much in order to experience what we're talking about. So we're giving you time to do that by giving you the information that is necessary for you to shift your vibration in that direction. Did that help?
Yes, yes, very much. And also on this note, when you're talking about open contact, and I mean, I'm always constantly shifting myself into a different world.
Of course.
Do you imply that open contact means really open towards civilization in the broad sense, or will it be more like individual open contact?
At the beginning, it'll be more on the individual level, but it will grow to the full civilization eventually. But again, remember, it won't be the full civilization that exists on your planet now. It'll be the full civilization that is appropriate to populate the version of Earth you will shift to that will be ready for open contact. But it will still look like the full civilization. But if you really were paying attention from another level, you would realize that not all the people that are with you on Earth now will be with you there. It will be the full civilization of that version of Earth. It won't necessarily contain all the people that are in your version right now. And it will maybe contain some people that aren't even here yet. Is this helping at all?
Yes.
All right.
May I ask you if I can ask you still 2 questions?
Well, now you just used up one question, didn't you?
All right. Then my last question is, do you have a personal advice for me?
Follow your passion, follow the formula. It's the best advice we can give to any of you. Learn to do it precisely, and everything will fall into place. That's why we give you the formula, because we don't give you something where it forces you to overthink things, to overcomplicate things. We are keeping it simple for you. We are distilling it down into the basic nature and structure of how you actually generate your physical reality experience. So the best advice is follow the formula. That's it.
Thank you very much, Bashar.
You are very welcome. Aveo.
Hello, Bashar. This is Sandra from Miami, Florida. I had a dream that I would like your insights on. On September 30th, in the middle of the night, I was awakened by a sensation of like being plugged into a current of electricity, so to speak. My whole body it felt like it was vibrating, and I was perceiving a presence of an ET, a male, and I just remember being afraid to look up into his face because I was kind of afraid of being afraid, which I guess is another belief I can take a look at. And I just wanted to know what truly happened in that moment, and if that sensation of electricity or vibration was my own resistance. Any insights would be appreciated. Thank you and good day.
Yes, sometimes spirit beings or extraterrestrial beings will vibrate at a level that allows you the practice to match it. So yes, you're always feeling only your own energy, even if someone is offering you a higher frequency to mirror or match. So they're giving you the opportunity to practice moving to a higher level so you can have more conscious awareness of the encounters and interactions that you're having with extra-dimensionals, extraterrestrial spirit beings, and so on and so forth. So don't be afraid of the energy. It's your energy, but it gives you an opportunity to expand yourself. All right, good day.
Hello, Bashar. Good day to you as well. It is an honor to speak with you today.
And you as well. What would you like to discuss?
All right. So in the last transmission, you told us a little something about the antiquity of yoga.
Yes.
Was it discovered, developed, or was it given to us?
It was intuited by those who were very, very close to the idea of nature and its forms and expressions of energy.
Okay. What can you tell us about the archetype Shiva? And was there a physical incarnation of Shiva on this planet at some time?
There have been physical projections that appeared to be physical incarnations, but weren't really incarnations in the classic sense. But archetypes can project physical representations that may seem very solid. So the archetype, again, is simply one of the ways that your collective consciousness has of looking at the concept of creation and destruction.
Okay. So Shiva is sometimes referred to as king of the yogis.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, again, because of the nature of the ebb and flow of energies being represented by certain yogic positions, and therefore at the very core or heart of the energy of the archetypal representation that you're calling Shiva. Because again, everything is about the ebb and the flow back and forth in different ways, in different forms, almost down to, or actually literally quite down to, the idea of atomic structures. Because as you have relatively recently in your history, in your evolution, started representing the idea of how atoms are structured and electron clouds are structured, there are different forms that are representative of lobes, spheres, toruses, and things like that, that are more representative of the probabilities of the existence of the structure of atoms and subatomic particles. And these also are representative of the idea of Shiva energy and yogic flow. Tapping into those electron structures can actually allow someone to intuit different positions in the body that allow for the most efficient superconductive flow of electron energy and electromagnetic energy and electromagnetheric energy through your body. So this connects directly to the idea of the core of the ebb and flow of the archetype of Shiva, because it is, again, the positive, the negative, all flowing into one another in a constant dance of creation and destruction.
All right. And what about Krishna?
What about Krishna?
So like, say like Shiva and Krishna are both often depicted with blue skin. And so I know that there's that thing with the Anunnaki.
Yes, and that's why that depiction exists. Because again, they are considered archetypal gods, and the Anunnaki in their time were considered gods as humanity, as Homo sapiens understood them at that time. And some of that recognition has been handed down through genetic memory, that at one time your so-called gods actually did have blue-tinted skin, and therefore in certain cultures that genetic memory remained and was applied to the archetypal representations of gods.
Right. Okay, great. So a question, another one about the Anunnaki. So they came here, created Homo sapien from the native Sasquatch.
No. Not from Sasquatch. Remember, created Homo sapiens from early hominids. The hominids that were not genetically altered to become Homo sapiens evolved into Sasquatch, became a different branch of the hominid. So it's not that they took Sasquatch and created Homo sapiens, they took an early hominid that eventually became Sasquatch on its own without the genetic alterations. Very different.
Okay. So when they came here and created Homo sapiens, and then they left, did they then come back?
Some of them came back, but the ones that came back were not the ones that were here initially, because the ones that created Homo sapiens did so outside of their laws. So they were recalled. So the ones that came back, along with others, were ones who now knew they had some responsibility for the creation of Homo sapiens because their brethren had created them outside the law, and therefore knew that they had to provide some guidance to set Homo sapiens on a path that would allow them to evolve.
Okay. And so did they come back like during Atlantean times?
Yes, sometimes. Although again, there were more species involved than just the Anu, who were evolving out of their present form and evolved into the beings that now occupy the Lyran systems and the Pleiadian systems.
Okay. And so about Lao Tzu, what was he connected to, and who was he? There's not very much that we know about him.
Connected to the consciousness of an archetypal form you recognize in your reality as the dragon energy. This is a level of being that exists in another dimension that is often interpreted as the form of a dragon in your reality, even though that's nothing like what they actually look like in their own reality. But Lao Tzu was connected very strongly, not the only connection, but connected very strongly to the dragon dimension, so to speak, just to use a term.
Okay. And in the Tao Te Ching, he describes the ancient masters. And so I was just wondering to whom he's referring to.
People that you don't remember in your history that have existed throughout the ages. Again, some of what we were talking about before, of different spirit beings choosing incarnations to come to you and let you all know that you are equal to them.
Okay. So there was one point in the Tao Te Ching where Lao Tzu says, like in referencing the Tao, he says, I don't know who gave birth to it. It is older than God.
The Tao is God. Nothing is older than God because older is just a concept. Remember, all things exist. There is no beginning and no ending to all that is. It just is. And Tao is a part of it. The only way that it could be, in a sense, from a linear perspective, quote unquote, older than God, is he was simply recognizing that it is part of the one. But the one is unbroken, homogeneous, and has no awareness and no experience. All that is the portion of the one that does know itself as all that is. So if you want to euphemistically say, well, the idea of the Tao is older than the portion that knew itself as all that is, you can make a sort of linear extrapolation that has some truth to it, in the sense that if you take it all the way back to the one, then yes, of course, everything in that sense is older than God, because God comes from the one too. But that's just more like wordplay than anything else.
Okay. So like in the Kabbalion, they use the word God to refer to or to describe the masculine principle, and then the universe as the feminine principle, and then as one described as all that is. So that's like...
Yes. Well, to us, there may be differences in terminology. All that is the portion of the one that knows itself as all that is. The one has absolutely no knowledge of itself, no awareness of itself, no experience of itself, because it has nothing to compare itself to. All that is knows itself, has a self-awareness, because it is also aware that there are other aspects of itself that make it seem as if there is something other than itself, which is the only way you can know yourself, is if there is seemingly something other than yourself to compare yourself to.
Okay, so I've heard you describe a particle in a vacuum with nothing to impose upon it, moving at infinite speed, so it's everywhere at once, hence
prime radiant. The prime radiant in our ancient language, but in your scientific jargon, it's called the single electron theory. You can look it up.
Okay. And so I was just wondering, like, could you consider the particle to be the masculine and the vacuum or the void to be the feminine?
If you want to. These things are just labels. If it works for you to do that, go ahead. But that doesn't mean it's an accurate representation of what it actually is.
Yeah, well, that's definitely what I'm looking for, is an accurate representation.
Then it's just all that is. That's all it is, because all that is everything. Masculine, feminine, neutral, whatever you want it to be, it is.
Okay,
It's existence itself.
Yeah. All right, I will have a think on that.
No, all right. By all means, have fun doing that.
So when Lao Tzu speaks about Wei Wu Wei, doing, not doing, where the poem writes itself when we give ourselves over to the moment,
yes.
Is this essentially like what you've described as the channeling state?
Yes. Because when you are following your passion, when you're in that vibration, when you're in the channeling state, whatever you wish to call it, you do a lot, but it seems like you're not really doing very much, because you're in sync, you're in harmony, you're in resonance with your true self, and actions are effortless, actions are joyful, and it doesn't seem like you're expending any effort. So it doesn't really seem like you're doing anything, because there's no resistance.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
It is our passion and our pleasure. Aveo.
Aveo.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
How you doing?
Perfect, and you?
Good.
Oh, all right.
Thanks for asking.
All right. You are welcome.
Do you have any books to be published soon? Like any agreement between you and Darryl to...
There are already a few, and the channel and those involved in disseminating the information are working on plans to publish other books. But you can talk to them about that.
All right.
Since I am not part of the publishing company.
All right, I'll do that.
All right.
Other question is, I know that our bodies are made of energy. I understand that.
Yes.
So any ailments or any diseases we have, does it have to do with any energy blocks in our physical bodies?
It can. Again, the idea is that you have formed a general consensus reality and agreed that certain things shall be generally held as true. A lot of these general consensus truths have to do with how physical reality works. A lot of it has to do, therefore, with the idea of chemistry. Mm-hmm. Therefore, blockages can occur by absorbing into your bodies the idea that you have labeled as toxins. And if you have toxins in your body, which all of you do, then that can, because of the consensus reality of how chemistry functions, actually block the cellular structures in your body from absorbing the appropriate nutrients to allow your body to rapidly balance and heal itself. Therefore, this is why we strongly urge individuals who are attempting to make themselves more receptive to synchronicity and higher energies to thoroughly detoxify their bodies on a relatively regular basis, to get the toxins out and put the proper nutrients in to allow the body to operate on the neurochemical electrical level that it was intended to operate on so that it can function in a balanced state.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, it does. Other question is, it has to do with, you were talking in your book about the properties of an object.
Yes.
And by changing them, you could change the object itself.
Yes.
And you could do time travel and everything.
Yes.
So can we, as third-dimensional beings, become the frequencies of the places we want to go to and visit? For example, let's say Andromeda or Mars or anything.
However, you cannot do that as third-dimensional beings. However, you can do it as fourth-dimensional beings.
All right. So
remember that you actually exist in the fourth dimension. We know that a lot of terminology on your planet gets confused on this issue. Third density, third dimension, fourth dimension. Physically speaking, mechanically speaking, mathematically speaking, you're actually in 4 dimensions. 3 of space, 1 of time. Mm-hmm. Therefore, by accelerating the idea of yourself as a fourth dimensional being and raising the vibration so that you're coming closer to fifth dimensionality, you can thus recognize that location is simply one of the variables of the definition of an object, and you can transport yourself to various places even as we do.
Mm-hmm. So for the time being, then, we're just going to do detox and everything to be allowing the higher frequencies.
It will be a beginning. We will see if you can detox your way to Andromeda.
All right.
There may be other belief systems also involved in that process that may require some changing.
All right. It will happen in time, right?
It can.
Yeah. All right. All right. I've been following my excitement, especially recently.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
And so I've been already passing through 2 different fields, which is business field and medical field.
All right.
And the second is more exciting than the first, but still not completely.
All right.
So I've
now
been
remember, first of all, before you continue, if I may,
yes.
When we talk about the idea of doing something that excites you, we are also talking about doing it in the most exciting way that you can. Sometimes individuals may think a certain thing doesn't excite them, but that may be only because they're not doing it in as exciting a way as they could be doing it. Sometimes you also can make the decision that certain things are not representative of your excitement. But you have to have the ability to make the discernment as to which is which. And the first thing to always check is simply that you may be making something seem not exciting because of your belief systems about it, when in fact you could actually be going about it in a more exciting way and reclaiming the excitement that is there. So as long as you check that first, then you can make a decision more easily as to whether or not the thing itself is truly representative of your excitement or not.
Okay. So you answered my question, which is, I am thinking now to be in the nonprofit field.
Oh, all right.
And
why is that exciting for you?
Because I feel it fits my personality a lot.
Oh, right.
I feel I have qualities that match this field more than others, and I also can able to help people who need help.
All right, and this is exciting for you,
It is exciting for me, yes.
All right, and so what actions will you take in that direction?
I've been already researching on taking a degree in school again the third time.
All right.
But since I've been planning to simplify my life also, if I do that, I'm gonna have to take more debt and everything.
Maybe not. Why do you assume that that's the case? Because that's the way it's always been?
In a way, yes.
Well, what does the way it's always been have to do with the way it can be?
I got your point.
Oh, thank you. Are you going to act on it?
I am going to act on it, but do you have any comment or advice or guidance towards how I'm going to act on it?
Well, I sort of just gave you some. The idea is to start relaxing your definitions of what seems to work for everyone else and recognize that you are a unique reality and that you can create the definitions within yourself that will work for you, and you don't have to do it the way someone else has done it. At the same time, as we said before to another individual, honor the belief systems that you do hold on to that you know you're not willing to let go of. If you truly believe that you need to do it a certain way, even though it may not be fully representative of your highest joy, but you feel you can't let go of that belief, then I would not let it go, because you may then throw yourself off a cliff and not be able to recover. The idea is to always honor the belief system and change them at whatever pace you are comfortable with changing them, based on the degree to which you're willing to believe that the new belief can actually support you. But I can guarantee you that any new belief you come up with that actually is believed by you to be capable of supporting you in whatever way you need to be supported will work, if you believe that it will, without the expectation that it must do so in a certain way. Again, we will be discussing this in more detail tomorrow when we discuss the idea of the relationship between physical mind and higher mind and how they can work more smoothly together. All right?
All right. Thank you very much, Bashar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
Good day.
We have another question from our listeners.
Yes.
Many scientists have been researching free energy generation.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of claims that it's been realized, but nothing seems to have really materialized in our society, at least not for public use.
Yes.
So it's unknown whether this is due to claims being false, or it's because these discoveries are silenced by major corporations because it's threatening.
All right. It is due to, A, claims being false, some of them, some being suppressed, some of them, some not being quite ready yet.
So is there really free energy?
There is free energy all around.
Well, I mean, are there
There are devices that can be created to tap into it, yes. Yes.
So what's the current state of that? Is it just that we're not ready to accept it, or why?
Well, now understand that when we make this general statement, it is a generalization. Different people in different places on your planet may be at different stages of readiness to explore this. You understand?
Yes.
So we are giving you an overall average here. The degree of general average readiness that your belief systems are at with respect to exploring the ability to create devices that can tap free energy is about 4 to 5%.
So it's still really low.
Yes.
So what would be the most likely form of free energy that we would generate in the near...
Tapping into the electromagnetic field of your planet.
When do you see something like that happening?
As we read the energy now, because as many of you know, there is no such thing as a prediction of the future because the future doesn't exist.
Right.
As we read the energy now, what seems most likely to come to pass if the energy doesn't change is that you will get a full handle on this sometime between your year of 2015 and 2030.
Okay, well, that's good.
It is what it is.
Okay, thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. Recently, I heard about a process where people change their way of getting energy. I've heard of breatharians where people supposedly don't eat; they get their energy from air.
This is available to some individuals. Not many of you actually need to do that. There is nothing wrong or less spiritual with the idea of eating, you know.
Yes.
It's just that in different cases, people are exploring different things, and sometimes some individuals on your planet will be capable of raising their frequency to the point where they themselves, as we have just discussed, can, through their own bodies, tap into the free energy of creation, and thus are sustained by that, even as our civilization does that, because we no longer eat. But it doesn't mean that you are less spiritual if you are accessing your energy still through the idea of food.
So how would we develop the ability to access our energy through light, through our light bodies, say, the light that's already in us?
Do you remember what we said about what acting on your excitement does to your energy? It increases your frequency. And thus, by increasing your frequency, it makes you more sensitive to higher energies, more capable of receiving and processing and accessing and using and applying higher frequencies in a variety of ways. So the only real fundamental criteria, even though there may be different ways of doing it on a case-by-case basis, different interpretations, different styles of approaching this, the fundamental common issue is the more you are willing to relax any expectations of the physical mind, the more you are willing to act with firm knowing on the things that are truly representative every moment of your highest passion, no matter what they may be, the more you will sensitize yourself to be capable of needing energy in less solid forms and be capable of being sustained by energy in more rarefied forms. If you will notice, many times when individuals are actually truly involved, engaged, immersed in doing what they love to do, are in the moment, in the present with it, they often don't eat very much. And the idea is they are sustained by the higher energy. The issue, however, is not to force yourself to do this, not to force yourself not to eat. When you find your natural balance, when you find your natural rhythm, the amount you eat or don't eat will also balance itself out. You will know when you need what you need. You will know when you don't. It becomes a natural, intuitive, second nature thing. It's not something you have to force yourselves to do. Does that make some sense?
Yes.
As we said, the idea of your excitement, your passion, that highest energy is your true core self. That's why it's so important to act on it at every opportunity, because that means you're in alignment with your true self. That high energy is automatically not only the driving engine, but the organizing principle of your life. And it will automatically put into proper order, in proper amount, in proper timing, all the things that are actually necessary to sustain you and allow you to expand further in that exciting state of being. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It all works hand in hand holistically. It's all a complete kit. It's all self-reinforcing. You don't have to do anything special to make it work. All you have to do is allow it to happen, allow it to run, because it's always working. Even if you don't know it, it's always working, because you're always using it to create whatever you believe is the most likely thing you can create. And you've always done so. And all you're attempting to do now, all of you, is simply become more conscious of the choices you're making that create the experiences you are having. You are not learning to create. You already do that flawlessly. The issue is, what are you creating? You follow?
Oh, yes.
Does this help you?
Yes.
Does it answer the question?
Yes, that question. Well, maybe a little more detail in regards to
respect?
How we can. I mean, I understand following my excitement.
You do?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, yes.
All right.
And the tuning into this frequency of light, say that I am,
Yes.
would raise my vibration.
If your imagination tells you that there's a particular methodology that you would like to create as a permission slip to give yourself more ability to feel that you're tapping into that light, then trust your imagination. That's what it's there for.
Okay.
This is all about permission slips. All the tools, all the techniques, and all the rituals that your imagination comes up with are simply permission slips that are geared to your particular belief system that will work in harmony with your belief system to give you permission to grant yourself the ability to be more of who you are. So trust your imagination and intuition in coming up with those methodologies.
Okay.
But at the same time, we simply remind you that that's all they are, is permission slips, and you actually don't need any of them if you have a belief system that says you don't.
Yes.
So,
when you earlier stated that your state currently is quasi-spiritual and physical, going back and forth,
yes.
I take that means you don't sleep?
No.
No.
We do not.
So,
we do not eat. We do not sleep.
So just pure existence, consciousness,
pure
functioning, joy.
Pure joy, pure experience, pure synchronicity, pure living.
Wow.
Wow. Which upside down in your language is mom.
Mama. And when you said that, I guess here's a conversation about where does the imagination kick in and where does something else happening outside of imagination occur?
All right. Again, this is something that we will be addressing to some degree when we talk about the relationship and the ability to communicate between physical and higher mind. Imagination is fundamentally the conduit between higher mind and physical mind through which communication from one to the each occurs. And the idea of learning to discern the difference between communication from the higher mind and ideas that may be embedded in the ego structure of the physical mind will be something that we'll be addressing in more detail tomorrow of your time.
Okay.
All right.
So I have a personal question then.
Oh, all right.
So when you made that statement and I tuned into that, I felt this sensation.
Yes.
I don't have words for it.
And?
So was that my higher mind experience in what you were talking of, or was that my imagination with embedded belief systems from the past kicking in?
Can you define the actual sensation?
It was expansive.
Then it is the higher mind, because the physical ego structure will not allow you to expand beyond a certain point. That's the point.
And it also had a certain flavor of pleasure to it.
There you go. Now, we understand that sometimes ego structure can deliver pleasurable sensations to you to reinforce the idea of negative beliefs. But if you believe that the expansive feeling was more in alignment with the idea of joy and unconditional loving support, then it is more likely it was something from a connection to the higher self rather than the idea of the control that usually comes with the physical ego structure's version of granting you pleasure.
Oh, yes.
Make sense?
Oh, I understand that, yes.
All right. Does that help you learn to tell the difference?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Another question, Bashar.
Yes.
We have a question about the jellyfish crop circle that recently showed up in Europe. And
yes.
We'd like to know what you can tell us about it.
The symbolism on one level, of course, there are many symbolisms to the idea of many of these different glyphs that are created in a variety of ways. Some of them are created by humans, some of them are not, in the classical sense. Nevertheless, they all have symbology. The idea of the jellyfish appearing at this time is to represent the notion of moving through your environment in a fluid manner, without resistance, effortlessly propelling yourself bit by bit, smoothly along. You understand?
Yes.
And that you can tap into that energy and allow your life to become one of ease, one of effortlessness as you move forward. Gliding, sliding, flying through the medium that heretofore you felt you could only crawl through, struggle through. That which heretofore acted as an obstacle or an impediment is now something you can glide through. It becomes a supporting medium, a buoyant medium, as opposed to that which holds you down. Does that make sense?
Yes.
As you lighten up your vibration, no longer do you feel the pressure of the weight of the water, symbolically speaking, above your head. You now rise up and float through it, fly through it, glide through it, because you yourself are lighter in the water and so must rise to the level that matches your frequency. You follow?
Yes, that's just lovely. It's really
Some
beautiful.
jellyfish, however, can sting.
And kill.
And kill. And that is always a reminder, just like the yin-yang symbol, that even though there is light, there is some darkness in it, always. Even though there is darkness, there is always some light, and both sides are always accessible from one another. So even though there may be the ability of the jellyfish to float free, there is always the reminder that you always have the ability to choose the negative side, but do not have to. The more you allow the stinger to be an accepted part of your whole being, of your whole identity, the less reason there is to choose the negative side as an experience, as long as you validate it as an equal choice, as part of who you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's just wonderful how that really represents the darkness and the light and how we're always at choice.
Yes. Of course, there will always be those who would prefer peanut butter and jellyfish. They like their things sticky.
Thank you, Bashar.